We had the US government recently issue a fairly alarming report about environmental cancer risks. Now, this report found that there are dangerous toxins in food, water and air that clearly harm people's health. Chemical agricultural pesticides are a big source of these contaminants, and the concerns are encouraging research into safer alternatives. Well, Brisbane-based BioProspect is one company that focuses on insecticides and therapeutic products derived from natural extracts. Now, joining us now is the Chief Operating Officer, Peter May. And Peter, it's nice to chat to you. Thank you.
Yes, great to be here.
I mean, you have a range of these natural kind of products under development at the moment. In terms of your company, how do you actually describe yourself?
Well, we're in the biotech sector, but I see ourselves really as focusing on these naturally derived products. I think what we bring to this sector is a scientific approach to a naturally derived science or folklore almost in many cases. I mean, we're working with some compounds that have been used traditionally for generations, and yet they haven't really been fully evaluated and obviously gone through the regulatory process that we need to look to go through in order to commercialise some of these products.
Which would be your most promising, so to speak?
Well, we've worked now for the last several years on TERMILONE, the one you mentioned, for termite control and pest control, and that program is certainly still running. But we've diversified further into some animal health products. We're working with some products that derive from natural conifer green needle extracts out of Russia. They go under the brand name AGRIPRO, and we're developing those products for use in companion animals for treatment of gastric ulcers and for other conditions. So we see an opportunity here for these sorts of products that have been used, as I say, for many years, but have not really been brought through either into Western medicine or, in this case, animal health, and really evaluated in a proper scientific way so that we better understand them and we can satisfy the regulators and we can put those into the market to the benefit.
So in terms of those, even just those two products that you mentioned, I mean, how far off are they from being actually commercially viable? How long is this road?
It is a lengthy process when one goes through some of these regulatory processes. I mean, in the therapeutic area with the TGA, we do have some listed products now which we're able to sell. But when it comes to animal health products and pesticide products or biopesticides that we're working with, we're having to go through a process that in some cases can be, up to 12 months or more of a regulatory step, of a formal review process. And prior to that, obviously, we need to generate product chemistry and efficacy and safety data on these products. So, it's a 3 to 5 year time frame for these sorts of products. We're well down the track, certainly with TERMILONE and with these animal health products. We've undertaken extensive lab and field studies. We would hope to see products in the market next year.
In terms of the news flow with products like this, though, I mean, it's a bit different to something that I kind of looked at before, I suppose, even with our guests. What can investors expect is the news flow and potential news items that might even move the share price? I mean, what are the markers, I guess, for investors?
Yes, I mean, with small biotech companies such as BioProspect, it really doesn't take much to move the share price. It doesn't take a very big sale or purchase of shares. We need to take a bigger picture approach. I think certainly we do need to keep the market and our shareholders fully informed of what we're doing. So we try to do that through regular news, e-letters and bio news we put out every 6 months. But our regular announcements to the market, we try to keep them fully informed.
But are there, are there any milestones, say, even in the next 3 to 6 months as particular markers?
I think, it's regulatory approvals, it's completion of critical trial work, it's signing up any commercial deals which we do along the way. I mean, they're really the milestones that that we see as critical.
There's a share purchase plan at the moment closing, I think, end of May. So obviously looking to add to the cash piles.
Yes.
What's the money going towards?
Primarily towards the AGRIPRO animal health product development. We're still obviously investing in the TERMILONE project. We last year acquired a company that was involved in therapeutics, and that's more seen as a cash generator and a cash neutral business. So most of our funds that we're currently raising will be directed more towards the AGRIPRO animal health projects. We do have an arrangement in place with Insistics, a US-based company, to part fund the TERMILONE development. So that in part is covered by that arrangement. So most of the capital we're currently raising will be directed towards the animal health projects.
With biotech companies and smaller biotech companies, of which you're one, it's good to find out the kind of the burn rate or the cash you're kind of going through month to month. What can you give us an indication there?
We keep a very close look on that. I mean, you know, a company of our size, we're probably going through a burn rate of about 150,000 a month, and that's you know, that's more than enough at this point. We do try to keep our overheads low. We have very few full-time employees. We use collaborators and contractors primarily for our services and our research work and such like. So it's a project arrangement generally. We try to minimise our retainer arrangements, for instance. So yeah, we certainly have to minimise our cash burn and our overheads.
Yep.
It's very critical.
And I should ask you about the federal budget this week. Was there anything in there for biotech companies, or were you looking for something that you didn't get?
I think what's happening at the moment probably came out of more last year's budget. I mean, there was a major review on the R&D offset scheme, which is obviously going to impact us, and that'll be enacted, I think, hopefully in the next few months. That's probably the main one. You know, export development, market development grants. There's Commercialisation Australia, which I think is being seen as being the replacement for the Oz industry grants. I mean, they're the things that we need to look at, and we are looking at for additional funding from government.
Peter, great to chat to you. I appreciate your time on the channel today. Thanks very much.
My pleasure.
So that's Peter May there from BioProspect, and we've got a break to take. We've got